Welcome back to AreaDieselService. Today we have a new and exciting and interesting collaboration with everybody's favorite YouTube heavy equipment operator, DirtPerfect. The story, as I understand it, is that inside of this box, and I swear to you that this is how this arrived, I even accused DP of this being one of his comment generators, but it's an appropriate segue into talking about the packaging. We've hit on it before, but it's hard enough to repair some of these relics as is, but if they get damaged in shipping, it just makes it even harder. This one, we're fortunate that it even showed up at all. I am literally sincere and honest. This is how it was on the cart in our receiving department. So inside of this box is an injection pump. And unfortunately, we're going to have to forego the dramatic unboxing. And we will pull this out. I have not inspected it yet. We will see if it suffered any damage. I can tell you now, one of the levers is bent. Not a huge deal. This particular pump is a Gina, or maybe that's a Gina, and it's 324. No point in saving the packaging. Where's my change? All right, so yes, a couple imperfections. This is the shutoff solenoid, and the plastic connector on it is cracked. I went ahead and finished her off. The lever here, I'll try and get you straight on. She's bent. They've dropped her on that. She's been whooped on the corner. We'll show you this injector line, completely hammered. Gonna have to get a new one of them. It's leaking, but what DPA isn't. It's not seized. So I think we can work with it. We haven't done much in the truck and tractor pulling world in our YouTube efforts at this point, but AreaDieselService has been involved in truck and tractor pulling, fuel injection, and turbocharging for as long as we've been in operation. It goes way back to the early days, and we've been participating the entire time.
Pulling has kind of been in my blood, and it passed on down to my son, and I'm sure it wouldn't take much for it to trickle down to my grandson. Yeah, it was excellent bonding time.
I miss the pulling days for the people that we used to see daily throughout the summer. Some people too much, other people not enough, but I also enjoyed the time that Dad and I got to spend working on it. Although we were pulling, we were driving 3 or 4 or 20 hours to an event, we were still working at the shop because we were talking about stuff that needed to be done there. Tyler came along and his brother, they were involved with it for a few years, and they got to take a lot of naps in the trailer and wear earphones to the track.
But it was a very good learning experience to make things happen and make things work with a limited budget. Did some innovative things that worked. We did some other innovative things that didn't work, but it was an extremely good teacher. It also taught us that when our hobbies started to interfere with our business, it was time we needed to devote a little more time to the business.
The Area Diesel pulling track. This sign will go on the back of the grandstand for all to see. And one quick story, and I know a lot of you remember the old grandstand. Val told me that he was a kid. His dad brought him out here when they were building that grandstand, which was about 1951-52. He would start the nail, and Val would pound it rest the way in. So to me, that's pretty cool that he's been around here for a lot of years. He's supported the fair. He's been on the fair board. Their business does a lot to support us and the community, and we just wanted to recognize them for that. So congratulations and thank you.
3 full nights of racing, a little bit of adversity with some weather, a little bit of issues with one of the rollers. It's a good thing we got 2 rollers. We got one, got a little fuel filter issue here. Holy snikes, can you guys see that? No wonder. Got everything cleaned out. Let's see if it starts and stays running. Come on, baby. That's a no-go on the stay running part.
This injection pump is off of an extremely important piece of the truck and tractor pulling arrangement, except this is for track preparation. This is off of a Hyster roller compactor. I don't know the full story. It's some level of scrap iron that DirtPerfect pulled out of the inoperable aisle of the auction somewhere. I believe he bought 2 of them. One of them I think was good to go. The other one I thought was running. I think he ripped the pinion out of it, or it had a gear train issue of sorts, and I believe they've got that cured, but now it won't start. They've gone through the traditional farmer diagnostics, and they believe that they have a problem inside of this injection pump. Because this is a high performance unit on this piece of track preparation equipment, we are going to completely remove the governor so that when they're compacting that track, they can get back and forth at a high rate of speed. And we're also going to roughly double the fuel output. We're going to make sure that they can stack way more weight on this roller than it ever should have had. And then we're going to paint this pump hot pink so that any operator getting on this machine knows that it's got a hot pump and that they need to proceed with caution. It is currently April. He told me he needs it back by July, so we've got 2 or 3 months to get this thing whipped into shape. I don't know when you'll see this over on DirtPerfect's channel. He generally runs a little bit behind the timeline of reality, so we will likely be out first. This is going to be another episode of Corey, right, Master Rotary Pump Technician. We are going to write this thing up, pass that information back to the service department. They will do the standard teardown, disassembly, cleanup, inspection, estimation, repair, calibration, and ship it back to the customer. That's it. That's why it's here. We'll toe tag it, transfer it back. We'll let Corey show you what needs to be done, and then we'll meet you back here at the parts counter.
Hey everybody, I got this pump here from the guys over at DirtPerfect, DPA pump. This particular one has a couple of things that are a little unusual. I've personally never seen one with this style lever. No, I've seen them with this part, but never with this other side piece. So that's kind of weird. And the low idle screw's a little different, which I would imagine that's not factory. And maybe someone welded this on because the screw was broke. But, I mean, it still does the same thing. And obviously it's been working like that, so I'm probably just not going to mess with it, to be honest. Kurt did show me a video of them pulling off the fuel filter of this thing, and it looked like it had jello inside of it. So that's kind of scary. But I did look inside the side cover, and yeah, you know, it needs to be cleaned up, but I wasn't too scared by it. But we'll see what happens whenever we get a little further deeper in. Apparently also this thing was like out of the box whenever it came in here. Like this lever is a little bent, and this fitting here is mashed up, and the little plastic piece is broke. So it has some stuff that could be addressed. He also said that he, doesn't mind if it's not 100% perfect, just has to work. So we might not, we'll change that, but we might not necessarily make everything absolute tip-top shape, But we'll see. I fixed up, we had a spare room here, so I made this my little YouTube room, so if it sounds a little different, that might be why. But if anything, Mallory can always fix that up. So I will get this capped up, get it washed and blasted, and then we'll get it back in here and get it tore down. Well, I got this pig all cleaned up, and this lever is definitely been modified. Let's put it that way. Once I get it off, I'll put it a little closer to the camera, but cleaned up fine. This is actually a newer solenoid, so even though that plastic is broke, it's not going to hurt anything, so we'll probably just leave it as long as it still works. They said this thing was on like a compactor, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see what this looks looks like. Yeah, see, it's been brazed. This piece has been added on. I don't know if they added this little piece on afterwards, so it looks like it's maybe brazed there. It's brazed there. Definitely interesting. But I would assume that they did that because of their linkage on the machine, so I probably will just leave it the way it is, because if it ain't broke, then why fix it? Come on now. This particular pump has both a shutoff lever and a shutoff solenoid, which isn't necessarily terribly uncommon. Generally, if they have a shutoff solenoid, they will still have a shutoff lever. Some John Deere pumps don't have both, they just have one or the other. At first, whenever I looked at this, I thought it was on like a Cummins application, because normally they have a side-mounted solenoid like that, but it's on a Perkins. And generally, the Cummins ones have a actual tapered shaft rather than this hub, so explains a little bit. Need a 6-point socket for this. My 12-point just wouldn't quite get it. Okay, I guess I can do that too. Might be a little noisier in here because there ain't as much stuff to block the sound. There we go. So these are his timing shims here. There's what, 2 of them? Yep. Thick one and like a medium-sized shim. Let's go back with that. It has 2 springs, which they look okay. I don't see any problems with those. There is a chance that since it has a solenoid, he might not even been using the shutoff lever. Yeah, see, that's definitely a new style solenoid, because the new style ones, this piece here doesn't come out, where the old styles is like a 2-piece. The plunger actually comes out of the solenoid, so the fact that that is 1 piece means that's a newer style. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so that's his regulating spring and his little adjuster here, so that pushes on that. This end plate here, there's a spring down in here. Got that out. His end plate has some wear. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a circle right here from the end of the rotor wearing on it. I should be able to sand that out. It doesn't look that bad, but I'll have to sand it out. But his filter here is packed. Well, I wouldn't say it's packed, but it's definitely dirty. So that thing there is garbage. In the trash can it goes. Piston doesn't look terrible, but we'll replace it. The gasket here on the end of the regulating sleeve. Yeah, that'll have to be buffed off later. Honestly though, I mean, that doesn't look too bad, really. End plate O-ring. That thing is stuck in there. Okay. I'll have to fight with this later. To get the blades out. There we go. Transfer pump blades. Those get replaced. I'll have to tap that liner out with a screwdriver. So gasket's off. I'm hoping that his top cover isn't worn out. But if it is, then we'll just have to replace it. There we go. These banjo bolts do not have a pressure valve in them. A lot of DPA ones do, but these ones do not. Oh, there we go. Didn't think I could get that washer off there. Worry about that after I pull the head out. According to the tag, it should be in hole number 6. Yikes. Which it is in hole number 6, but it is nasty. As you can see, it has a lot of gunk in here. Little idle spring and little peg there. Governor spring. Shafts out. It's definitely gunky in here. It has a severe, well, it has a large case of the schmoo. And it looks like this top cover might be worn out. Won't really know till I blast it. It looks like, I mean, it definitely has some wear. I just don't know if it's that bad or not. O-rings are shot. They're hard as bricks. And they're flat. I'm surprised it wasn't leaking worse on the outside, honestly. There might have just been so much crud in there that it was keeping it from leaking. Shut off bar. Knock his little bin tabs out. Get this out while we're here. This has no check ball in it, so it's just a straight fitting. I knew there was going to be something I was going to forget. If it was a 1/4 inch, I could have got it. And this metering valve is stuck. Oh, it's really stuck. There we go. You can see all the crud on it. I'll show you this a little closer. That thing there is nasty. Check ball. That ain't too bad. It has a little bit of stuff in there, but nothing crazy. I'll have to peel this gasket off later. I'll worry about that later. Ooh, that's another tool I forgot. Was that piece there? Ugh! Well, that's some bad luck there. Well, looks like I gotta go get another one. I was not expecting that. Let's try this one and make sure that it doesn't break. I've never had one of those tools break. That's surprising. So what happens whenever you use them for 30 years? They finally just give out. hub off of here. I don't really know why it's not wanting to come out. There. Just need an extra little smack. This hub don't look too bad. It's not perfect, but it should still work. Another one of those things of knowing what's bad enough to have to replace and what can be reused. I'm gonna use my mallet on this. Oh yeah, it's coming. There we go. This cam ring is toast in multiple ways. So a couple of the lobes are actually worn down, and then I don't know if you'll be able to see, there is pits in there, Pit City. It is no bueno. Cannot be reused. Clip out. There's his weight cage. We'll see if his weights are any good. Shaft comes out. Yeah, his weights are fine. Definitely reusable. They really don't look too bad. Peel the seal out of the housing. That comes in the kit, so I don't have to worry about that. Well, now the housing's clean. Blast that. So now we just got the rest of this head. We'll take this fitting out. Head O-ring. Now we're going to see if we can get this liner out. Sometimes these liners just get stuck in here. So you got to work them back and forth, which I think I got this one broke free. Yep. Ta-da! Get that cleaned up. Now we will pull this rotor apart. Again, special tool. Didn't break this one. Yeah, that came right off. Perfect. Pull his rollers and shoes out, which they will probably have to be replaced. Yes, they are. You can see here. Well, maybe you can see the pits in there. Might be able to see that, might not. But they're junk, let's put it that way. Plungers out. And that's about it. His rotor actually looks really good. So yeah, I'm really not too concerned with that. But that doesn't necessarily mean it'll still work. So we'll see. But that's going to be it for today. I got to throw that in the sonic cleaner and get this thing cleaned up. Hopefully tomorrow I can put it back together. Well, it'll really depend on if we have parts. That's going to be the determining factor, is if I have to order anything in, which I won't know until it's cleaned up. So that is where we are at. My bench cleaned up here. I'm going to throw these parts here in the Sonic. I'll clean and blast his other parts here. Get the old gaskets off there. And we will see what tomorrow brings on if I can actually rebuild it or not. So I will catch you guys then. I'm finally back. Felt like it took forever to get my cam in. It's probably been about a week since I tore it apart. We're going to finally build it. Mounted up here. I got all the parts cleaned up. They weren't terrible. You know, the Sonic cleaner definitely helped clean them up a lot, but they just needed a little extra love. Got a new cam, new top cover, solenoid, roller shoes, you know, the whole gambit here. So we're going to, you know, lube up my vise a little bit. Put our new seal in. Hopefully this ain't too terribly loud. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, build our weight cage here. Since I'm building this in this other room that we have, it's set up differently, so it's going to take me a little bit to get used to how to do this in here. Weight cage. One thing I forgot, I don't have any grease in here. I knew I'd forget something before I started. We'll wait on that. His rotor really looks pretty good, so I'm not too concerned about this. I think a lot of it just needed cleaned up. And of course, whenever we tore it apart, we found that his metering valve was stuck, so that didn't help at all. Gotta make sure your shoes go in the right way. Because there is a right way and a wrong way for these. That looks pretty good. Small O-ring. Back to where we were. That in there. It's basically time to stick that shaft and everything into the pump. I just realized I'm missing another tool. Shocker. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see there? Sometimes it just takes a little ingenuity. That spins good. It's a clockwise pump. I gotta make sure I put this in correctly. That is correct. It helps if I put this clip in there though. It's Monday, so my brain hasn't warmed up yet. That's better. Can screw. Torque this into spec. This grease, I'm using a different kind of grease here, and that's just because it's one that we had in there, and I don't really know if I like it. It's kind of sticky. Okay, line everything up, make this go in a little easier. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we got head in, cam, shaft, weights, drive. Stick our head bolts in. At least this is a 4-cylinder, so I didn't have to do anything else with the head. Now we will work on the advance and get this head bolt ready. One of these days I'll figure out the camera. Figure out the best position for it. So that way I don't have to mess with it as much. Need my check ball. Grease on this. Okay, so that there is ready. That. I like to bend this just a little bit to help it stick on this. Of course, I got my Loctite. Gasket maker, whatever you want to call it. Put our piston in the right way. So they are directional. Again, I can't torque this bolt here because I got to take that out for the test stand. Now we got our advanced springs, which go on the spring side, advanced cap, and advanced shims. So those are what actually regulate my spring pressure. Trying to think kind of like a statistic on how often I have to change those. If it's an actual shim type advance, I would say I probably have to change those shims 90% of the time. It might not be a whole lot, but just to get it to fall into spec. Okay, advance is put together. Now we'll do our transfer pump. This is a reman liner that we reman, so should be good to go. Tilt this up a little bit. Got our new blades. End plate O-ring. So it looks a little worn. I do have a piece of sandpaper in here. Again, I'm just trying to get some of this wear out of right here so that way it doesn't bypass around the top of the rotor there. So that's basically all I'm doing. That's probably about good enough. up there is good enough. We'll blow this out and then we can put this on. Now we're back in business. Stick our roll pin back in here. Which that just locates the liner. So now it's nice and smooth and flat. Stick this on here and we'll torque this down. Now let's see if it still moves. Like butter. Now we'll keep on working on our end plate here. So that's just a little catch spring that goes in the bottom. Got our regulating sleeve, which needs a new gasket on it. We got our piston, which try and make sure that it's free. Work it back and forth a little bit. Yep. Got our spring that goes in there, which actually regulates the pressure. Got our main screen, and we got our adjuster, which adjusts the pressure. Gasket. And we just got our top end. And I do have my solenoid here. Me and Kurt went back and forth on whether to replace this solenoid or not. Because technically speaking, his old one, there's nothing functionally wrong with it, but as you can see, the one plastic ear is broke off. So it's one of those, okay, do we replace it because it looks bad? Do we not replace it because there's nothing functionally wrong with it? But it's just one of those things that then, you know, we get this nice rebuilt pump and then you look at the solenoid and one ear's broke off. And it's just like, man, it's part of the making sure that, you know, you're actually doing good work that looks good and functions good. So, and we had one in stock, so that's why we're replacing it. Because technically it would have worked just fine with no issue. I'm just putting the side cover on just to get it out of the way. Now we can open our top cover. Brand new metering valve, which I believe, yeah, we would have had one of these in stock. This is a very common number. His was not oversized, so I didn't have to worry about that. Now let's see how free it is. I'll put a little bit of calibration fluid in there, just to make sure that thing is completely free. Don't want it hanging up like it was before. That one there is kind of tight. For some reason. Normally these screw right in here, so I'm hoping that nothing is going on. We'll know once we get it tightened down. I think it'll be fine. Get our little screw here. I don't think I have a wrench for this. I know I don't have a wrench for this. Okay. That felt fine. Get these tightened down. Those tightened down fine. Everything works good. Just gotta bend these bend tabs up. We're getting real close here. It's our brand new top cover. So we gotta put this in the right spring code hole. Again, I have explained some of this in a little bit more detail in one of my previous videos. Okay, we will. This is our shutoff bar. So this particular pump has a shutoff bar and lever and a solenoid. So I don't know which one they use more often on the machine, if it even has a shutoff pole or whatever. Or if they just run it by the key, one of them things. Stick that through. Make sure we're mostly centered up here, squared up. Dust seals, as all those are. Also, as you can see, his lever is tweaked. I'm going to try and straighten this out real quick. Still has kind of a whoop-de-doo in it. That's better. Probably about the best I'm going to get it. See, I mean, now we're mostly straight now. So it's about the best I'm going to get it, let's put it that way. Man. So you might have to take this off. Problem is, both this lever and this shaft are worn out on the end. So as you can see, this thing moves this much without actually moving the shaft. And that might be why they had to add this piece on here, because that shaft had slipped so much. Yeah, that very well could be a possibility. Okay, so I got a different throttle lever and a different throttle shaft, and they are very tight together, so that should do him better than this shaft. But I gotta take that back apart, which ain't that big of a deal. And technically his throttle lever isn't exactly the same, but it should work fine for him. That looks good. Definitely a lot better. What I'm hoping that this won't be too far off. I mean, I'm in the right spring code, so we'll see. Cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, because even with this newer shaft, this lever is still loose as can be, so we're gonna switch that out to this one. It's not exactly the same, but it should work out fine for him. I bet you he could get it to work, let's put it that way. I also got a new little idle screw for him instead of that one that was in there. Probably needs to be about right there. Probably needs to be more about there. There we go. Yeah, that thing there was kind of tight. This idle screw is not very good either. I don't know if it'll screw in easily. No. Okay, well, I'm gonna go try and find a new one of these because I don't really want to wreck my brand new housing. The only bad thing about working in this separate room is the fact that I don't have all my spare parts. That's not too bad. Got his shut-off spring here. So this is basically just a return spring. That's bent. Yeah, it's a little bent. That's better. That. Washer. Tighten that down, which that still works good. Wrap our spring around. Perfect. This be his return right here. Okay, well, that is basically it. We'll wait to put those on until after we run it. Those are the bad parts. That'll go on after I run it. Okay, so yep, that's basically it. All I got left now is just to stamp it, which I can do that once I get done running it. So we switch the cam, meter valve, blades, liner, switch out his throttle shaft. I need to put that thing on here. We'll do that real quick. Get his little round piece undone here. He just won't have a homemade lever anymore. But oh well. I think this is going to work out better for him in the long run. There we go. We are done. I will catch you guys once I finally get back on the test stand. Okay, so I got everything hooked up here. As you can see, I'm kind of concerned about this. I think that spring is too tight, so I might have to change the spring code, which could be because we changed out that throttle shaft, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much until I get it fired up and see what happens. We'll see if it will do what it's supposed to. I'm getting transfer pressure, that's good. Well, I don't see any drips. So no leaks yet. I think we're fine. This one is actually pretty quiet too. Okay, well, seems to be pumping just fine, so we're gonna let this warm up, and then once we're up to operating temperature, then we'll start running through the specs. Well, it's all warmed up now, so I'm gonna start getting after it. We'll see. I think the fuel's gonna be a little low, so I might have to bump it up. Yep, we're definitely low. So I'm getting 52 cc's. I need 56. So I just gotta bump my fuel up a little bit. But other than that, my transfer pressure has been fine. I just let me bump it up a little bit because my advance was just a touch low. But it was very close. A lot closer than normal. So far, the rest of it's working good. The fuel just needs turned up. Now we'll see if I get lucky and can get it right the first time. Grab my plug. I can't remember if I've ever shown turning up the fuel on a DPA on the old YouTubes yet. I don't think I've had to. It's kind of a process. It's really a pain in the ass, but whoa, that was a little much. Might have went a little overboard on the fuel, but we'll see. That might be pretty close on my fuel. I might have got lucky. I like to bleed all the air out after I've done work to the inside. Sometimes having housing pressure in there makes a difference. I think we're going to be spot on for fuel. Yep, we are spot on. So the spec is 56 cc's. I was originally getting like 52, 52 and a half. Turned it up and now we're right on 56. So I got real lucky there. Actually, that's really good. Actually, I need to back it out with the scope. I'm just getting lucky all over. Maybe. Not quite tight. Ta-da! That's perfect. Okay, so basically ran it up, pre-checked my fuel for the governor, then ran up some more, set my high idle screw to the spec, ran up further to make sure that the governor was going to go to shut off, because it has to go to cut off in case the pump runs away or the tractor runs away. The pump won't keep feeding it fuel, basically. So once you set that, then I slowed it back down to my full load spec, made sure it still made fuel, which it did. So that means our governor regulation is fine. It's in spec. So now I'm going to check the mechanical shut off. Which it works perfect. Now we'll set our low idle. That's perfect. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Which you can always adjust this on the machine too, so I'm not too worried about that. It's at least in range. Now we will go down, we'll check our cranking. So we needed 56 cc's for main fuel, and we need 31 cc's for cranking, and we are at 46 and a half. So this head is very good. So he's getting a lot of cranking fuel out of that head, which is good. So now I gotta stop the machine. I gotta take out this plug. And then we will check our solenoid. Putting this head locator screw back in it. If I don't put this head locator screw back in it, then what'll happen is even if I shut off the solenoid, it'll actually pull fuel from the hose and it'll keep the pump running. So it won't give me an accurate test. It's basically like a back feed. But now since that's plugged off, we can check this and it should work fine. Especially since it has a brand new solenoid. And perfect. Stop it. Start it again. Yep. Okay, so I am done. So we got real lucky with his high idle and low idle screws, especially since we did change the top cover and we changed the lever. So that should work out better for him. Has the ball, newer throttle shaft, and lever, so that's not just super worn out. Of course, we had to change some of the parts because they were damaged from the fuel contamination. So you definitely need to rebuild it because the metering valve was stuck. And with the cam being so bad, it might have lasted him this year, maybe, if it was clean, but man, it's kind of hard to tell. So it's a good thing he's sending it in. Definitely had problems. And obviously, we fixed him right up. And we gave him a little bit extra fuel, so he should be happy. I'm going to get this yanked off and timed, and I'm going to get this thing painted, and you guys will see it back up the front counter with Kurt.
There it is. You saw what we did. We don't have to go back through everything, but we will hit the highlights. It was a relatively normal rebuild and return. It required a gasket kit, metering valve, delivery valve, blades and liners, cam ring and rollers, and the solenoid was broken. Tear it down, clean it up. We did find that it was very dirty inside and the metering valve was stuck, so it would stand to reason that this pump would not create any fuel delivery. We always joke about the schmoo, but this machine had the worst case of the schmoo I've ever seen. So we are going to prescribe ValvTech BioGuard. This is Microbiocide. So if you have algae or prolific schmoo, you can treat your machine and you can treat your holding tank if you stock your own fuel. I don't know where he picked up his case of algae, but it was extreme. He can nuke his machine, throw it in his holding tank if he's the source. But once the algae starts, it's a real booger to get it killed. So you got to use something. This just happens to be what we sell. You may find yourself wondering, why is this pump pink? And I'll tell you, because by the time we get this video edited and out in the world, it might be mid or late May. As you know, DirtPerfect and the crew, they run a little bit behind the timeline of reality. So we would anticipate that you would be able to find the video regarding this pump on his channel somewhere in the month of October. And the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if there's one thing AreaDieselService are concerned about, it's the longevity and health of all of the breasts out in the world. I hope he's got the camera running live when he opens up the box and pulls out his hot pink Perkins compactor pump. Say that 19 times fast.
All right, guys, you're going to get a kick out of this one. I had Kurt from Area Diesel rebuild the injection pump on one of these rollers we got. He sent us the hot pink pump.
All right, the $1 million question, as per usual. What did it cost? We told you the parts that it took. Corey had about 5 hours rebuilding, calibrating, and professionally painting this pump pink. And we come up with a grand total of $1142.42 for a full service overhaul on your Lucas Delphi DPA CAV rotary pump. That's probably a little higher than normal. We did put a solenoid on here. Technically the solenoid was working. It just had a broken plastic ear on it. We didn't like it, but the cam ring and rollers is not something that always gets replaced. On the stand, it made fuel delivery specifications flawlessly, And as you know, Corey's done a million of them, so we have no concerns about this hot pink pump taking care of business. If you haven't already seen it, we are going to issue the very prestigious, highly regarded, ultra desirable AreaDieselService Rusty Pause Button Collaboration Plaque Major Award to our good friends over at DirtPerfect. If you're not familiar with the crew over there, we'll drop you a link. Please go check them out. Tell them we sent you. Hop on over there and see if this pink pony pump is going to deliver any fuel so the compactor can run and the tractor pull can go on. If you're not familiar with Rusty Pause Button, we'll drop you a link to the video where I personally cut down the tree and manufactured this in a collaborative effort with many other local small businesses. This is our way of continue to thank our collaborative partners and commemorate the collaboration that we've done with them. If you see any other channels out there where you think we could be of assistance, please don't hesitate. Tag us in a comment, shoot us an email, give us a call, what have you. Spread the good word, but AreaDieselService is here to help. That's a wrap. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. If you like the pretty pink pump, do us a favor, give us a comment or a big thumbs up down below. Really helps out the channel, doesn't cost you a thing. If you find yourself in any need of any diesel engine type of components, we would appreciate an opportunity to earn your business. We are an honest, long-standing, fair organization that prides ourselves on providing a high-quality customer experience. If you need something, we try to be easy to get a hold of. You can call us at 800-637-2658. You can drop us an email at parts@areadiesel.com. You can log on to our website at AreaDieselService.com, where you will find a large amount of high quality information and the ability to chat instantly with a diesel engine expert through the button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, or you can stop by any of our locations in Iowa, Illinois, or Indiana, but you cannot fax us anymore. We have retired Freddie the fax machine. We blew it up with all the faxes we were getting, and we have decided not to bring her back into service. I reckon that's it for now. Thanks for watching. In the 52 years that we've been in operation, the owner has never allowed anyone to paint a pump pink. We took it upon ourselves on this one. It was sitting on my desk. He walked into my office, and let's just say, what would a woodchuck do if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Painted the pretty pump pink. Painted the pump pretty pink. Pretty pink. Pink, pink. Pink slip.
Without permission.
Without permission, got a pink slip for painting the pump pink.